Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Deep Dive Haunts. This is episode 11. Tonight we're going to talk about the Aurora Brothel. Um, we only have two more episodes after tonight of the Deep Dive Haunts, and we will be caught up to date. And then we will be doing those as we investigate to keep current on them. Um,
Okay.
so Um, yeah, really excited about that one. Uh, before we actually get started, hello everybody. We're gonna let some people take a little bit of time to get in here. Say hello. Myra asked me to tag them. That's why I caught that comment in there. Um, but anyway, so next week we'll talk about the 1858 Garnet House Hotel in our investigation. You'll definitely want to tune in for that one. And then the following Sunday, the 29th, Tim and I will be talking about Sanctum of Souls, which unfortunately is no longer an option to go investigate. But we had a really good experience while we were there, and we can't wait to um, show that um, to get into that one. I actually did learn how to put in a couple of things in our live stream tonight, so we'll have some actual evidence to show you guys. That'll be kind of fun. I am going to suggest there are a couple of EVP sessions or clips. Please wear your headphones to hear them. It comes out better that way. Oh shoot! I just knocked all that off to my side. Um, but it is a lot easier to hear with your headphones on. Um, let me. La 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 la. I was gonna say it shows that we're live, but it's not showing on Facebook. Um.
I have it on Facebook.
Okay, cool. I was say because it's showing me that. Oh, there we go. There. Well, there it was.
Is it?
There it is. All right. And I tagged her, so hopefully she will be in. Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. The investigation that we're talking about tonight, it was just the three of us that went. We weren't able to. Hi, Myra. We weren't able to have any other team members go with us on that one, unfortunately. Some other things that we have coming up while we're waiting Wednesday night. Um, Goose Flats Paranormal LLC, they're out of Tombstone, Arizona. They're going to be joining us on Deep Dive Podcast. So I can't wait to have them guys in. So yeah. So we'll leave that up for a little bit. We'll flip the banners around a little later. She said, "Here I am." She is here. So welcome in, everybody. Um, there isn't a lot of history on the Aurora Brothel. I did take what I have from Myra's website and a little bit of what I could find. Um, it was originally built in 1887 and it was once a brothel, saloon, and gambling hall. It began as a unique, or let me rephrase that. After all of that, when Myra took it over, it began as a unique antique shop in Aurora, Missouri, filled with captivating relics from the past. Over time, she discovered the rich history and paranormal intrigue that the historic location holds. Embracing this, she has transitioned into offering haunted tours and ghost hunts after hours, providing an authentic and immersive supernatural experience. Through new to the paranormal, oh, sorry, though new to the paranormal investigation scene, her dedication to authenticity and respect for the spirits creates a memorable experience for all who visit. She aims to build a reputable name by combining her love for history with genuine ghost hunting adventures inviting guests to explore the unseen and mysterious side of Aurora. Join us or join her to uncover the stories and spirits that linger within the Aurora Brothel. It is a 10,000 square foot building, and you get to investigate all of it. It's awesome. Yee-hoo! She sounds impressive. You are impressive, girl. You um so while she hasn't learned a lot of other history about it, um, on our way home, we were I was doing some little bit of investigating. I come across a Facebook page that was I had to look it up again and I can't remember the name of it now and I should have wrote it down, but it's because there's several Aurora pages and I want to say it's the historic Aurora page, but I'm not 100% sure. But later, as we're going through the investigation that we had, we will get into um, an entity that Myra told us about that likes to hang in the basement, and his name is Walt. I did find some information about a gentleman named Walter on that historic page, which I'll get into a little bit later when we get to that area. Um, but when we get into it and we get to talking about it, you guys can let us know if you think in the comments if it might be the same guy. So it was really interesting to learn that on the way home.
Mm.
Um, and then I'll just do a quick shout out. August, April 15th, Myra herself will be on the Deep Dive podcast talking about the location. So you guys might hear about that history again, but we're going to get into it more. And I can't wait to have her on the show. It's going to be
Mhm.
exciting. Um, so then she gets to go on about her ghosties with the mosties that she loves so much and that love her. So, with that being said, um, I am going to flip it over to Tim. I will let him talk about what he was feeling first trip, going through getting the tour and that kind of stuff, what he was feeling, what kind of vibes he was getting and everything. Oh, before we do that,
Sure.
I am going to mention one thing. Myra watches her windows and she knows when you're there because we had just pulled in. She didn't know what car we were in or anything. We literally had just pulled in by the side and she walked out the door and she's like, "Hi, I'm so glad you're here." So she must be a little bit psychic or something herself because she knew we were there. We didn't even tell her we were in town or anything at that point. We just wanted to drive by to get a look at the location and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
we were met by Myra. So she's an amazing, amazing person. All right, take it away, Tim.
All right. First of all, I'm going to get me one of these better lights. I got this light over here making me give that ghosty look. So anyway,
That's all
anyway,
right. Ghosties
let's
are good.
go. Anyway, so as Myra would say, let's talk about the ghostest with the mostest because that's how she expresses spirits in her place of business and the building upstairs. So this is an old haunted brothel. And when you tell somebody you went to a brothel, please tell them it was haunted before you get that completely out because I got a lot of slack when I said that. So anyway, so
Mhm.
so going into the place, it was really interesting. The upstairs part of it and downstairs where we had our uh, base station set up, we were getting a lot of activity down there. There was stuff in rooms that were back in the dark. There was feelings of being watched all the time or someone around you constantly, no matter where you went in the building, like someone was following you around. Those are the feelings I got out of the place. Upstairs, I felt like old presence. There was a spot I went in the attic and did an Estes session, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It was really an active spot. My feeling was a lot of things happened there over the years. Being a brothel, being a gentleman's club, the original staircase doesn't exist anymore, but you can see where it was once you go upstairs. those kind of things. Oh yeah, and the basement was a taxi service as well. So those are
Yeah.
interesting because I think it leaves a huge imprint in a building when you have those things happen. The history just it's 100 years old. How do you not leave a lot of imprint? There was a bar downstairs. There was all kinds of things. There was a lot of activity in this building. As far as I felt it, I just felt like I was being followed all the time, or somebody was with me constantly, no matter where I went in the building. Every time I turned a corner, looked through a door, someone was looking back at me. Someone was trying to get my attention. That's how I felt about the place, anyway. How it attracted me, and I'm can't wait to go back. I think it's going to be a second trip's going to be awesome as well. I don't know
Yeah.
why it wouldn't. This place is very, very active. There's a lot of activity in all the floors in this building, no matter where you go. So it was pretty awesome. I was happy to go there. Can't wait to go back.
And we go back April 11th,
Yeah.
just under a month. We're excited. All right, Misty, what did you feel when we were walking through?
Um, well, as soon as I brought my bags through the door, I was kind of on my own because Tim had already gone in and was on his way back out, and I was bringing a load in, and I think you were at the door waiting to just hold it and go your turn next. And I remember walking by, and something said something, and it wasn't clear what I heard, but it was a definite, like, who are you kind of feeling. Like they were questioning who you are, wanting to kind of like figure out if we were going to be good or bad. But it was enough to startle me, and I stopped and looked up. And once you're there, if you go there, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll look up, and there's a cutout, a half room, like a little storage room, but it's in a really weird spot. And that's where I got that little greeting from. And from then, I knew right then that we were going to see or hear something because it was so direct at that point. Then walking in, again, just like Tim said, you felt like something was watching you, watching your back. You got the hair on the back of your neck rising and everything. It was just an eerie feeling. And again, we get all of our stuff coming in, putting it down. Again, we are bombarded by noises, by the feeling of something creeping closer, but not seeing anything creeping closer. Um, Later on, going upstairs, quite a bit of activity up there as well. In the room that he was talking about. But honestly, it was more like it was testing us the whole night, trying to get our attention, but not pushing it too far.
All right. Ooh. Hi, Laura from Myra. Patriot Paranormal. Hey, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, welcome in, welcome in. Um, Me going in there, I'm always oblivious to the fact when we first start going in because my mindset is to get in there. Let's get this stuff unloaded. Let's do where we're going to, get the game plan together, where we're going to put base camp, where we're going to start setting up things. Like that's my mindset always when we go into a location. So they're like, "Aren't you feeling any of that?" And I'm like, "Feeling what?" Like I'm just oblivious. But then once we got everything in, and then we started, like setting up equipment and everything, and then I'd walk through. I was like, "Oh, found it!" Like
Mm-hmm.
found it. It catches up to me eventually at some point. Um, but it was really interesting just to go on the tour with her of the whole thing, listening to um, tell us about her ghosties and the respect that her ghosts have for her. And when I'm telling you that these ghosts watch out for her, they watch out for her. Um, she will tell you, or she may not tell you. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it a lot, but there are some times where her spirits have stuck up for her against other people. So um, she treats them with like the utmost respect. They do the same thing back. So it's a really good location. Laura was at the brothel in the daytime for a little while. And how was that, Miss Laura? Was that a fun time? Um, I was waiting to see if she answered back. I kind of lost my train of thought. Squirrel, just one, just, right? Just one, but he will. I mean, it will. It'll happen. It'll sometimes happen. But anyway, let me know or let us know in the comments if you actually have been there to investigate yet, or if you are booked to be going there. Um, you think she got pushed in the basement, Laura?
Ooh.
Look at that. And then yes, we got to walk through. Dive some spirits that wanted some attention. Awesome. That's awesome. I have too many buttons over here to my side that I can play with. Okay. So we decided where we were going to set up cameras, and Tim and I had went upstairs to set up a camera, and we'll come back to that in just a minute, Laura, and we'll come back to you too, Russell Spirit. One second. We were setting up a camera. We got it set up. We were talking to Misty. We were like, "How's it look?" She's like, "It looks good," da 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 da. And Tim's like, "Well, while we're up here, we're just going to go down here. We're just going to do like a little EVP session for a little bit." And so Misty, and we had told Misty when we went upstairs that's what we were doing, and she's like, "That's fine. I'll just do a little EVP session down here by herself," which she'll talk about here in a few minutes. But as Tim and I are up there, we're walking back, and it's not dark, but it's dark. And he hit a chair, and he said some profanities, and it was the same time that Misty came across the walkie. And so I thought he was frustrated because he was trying to conduct an EVP session, and she chimed in, but it had nothing to do with each other because he ran into a chair.
Yeah.
So it was funny. But I'm going to let Tim talk about his walk on over and what we experienced, like right off of the get go.
So we were upstairs, and so if you go up the stairs and go clear back to the north end of the building, there's some chairs and stuff in there, and I think there's a bed and a couch, and there's a table and stuff. And I walked into one of those chairs trying to walk around in the dark. And so after that, so I got to get you involved in this. It's pouring down rain outside. It's cold, and the windows upstairs are boarded up, and they got plywood or drywall around, or not drywall, but press board, and there's little cracks in them. So the wind's blowing, and it said it was pouring down rain. It was starting to get cold. Well, I started asking questions, doing an EVP, and there's this loud scream, and I mean, it was a woman's scream, and it was clear as a bell, loud. So I tried looking out the windows the best I could around the wood. I said it's pouring down rain. I didn't see anybody in the street. I didn't see anybody outside because it was raining really hard. So we kind of wondered if someone had been outside or something happened. So we were trying to debunk, make sure what we heard was actually a correct scream. I have it on EVP, and it's very unique. It's very, very loud, and it's actually one of the best EVPs I caught. So later on in the night, we were trying to figure out, man, was this someone outside? Do we need to dismiss this? Is something going on? We were back downstairs at base camp, and Brenda hears another scream. So we took it as validity because now we've heard two screams in this building, one upstairs, one downstairs. But this woman screamed like she was being hurt or needed help or being attacked. That's what the scream was. I should have, if I'd have known I was going to get this access, I would have got it downloaded and played it for you so you could hear it. But maybe we'll get with Brendan and see if we can add it later to the podcast. So it was awesome. I mean, it was exciting. It was really, really cool that it happened. And Misty was downstairs. Brenda was upstairs, and no one else is in this building, just the three of us. Mm-hmm. So chalk it up to a great experience and a great catch. I do anyway. So
And when we were upstairs, um, yeah, Misty was downstairs, and when we got back together and was talking about it, she was like, "I didn't hear, um, I didn't hear a scream. I didn't hear anything." So him and I were the only ones that heard it upstairs. When I heard the second one, um, we actually all three of us went to different doors, and we were like looking outside. We were trying everything to try to figure out if
mm,
we could get debunk what it was. Um, so yeah, that was quite interesting. Myra says, "Send it to me, please."
okay, I'll get
Yeah,
it. I'll get it downloaded. So
yeah. To
yeah.
me, it almost sounded like she was startled, like we
Mm,
might have walked up on her and she wasn't expecting it. That was what the scream sounded like to me.
could
Um,
be.
but it was very interesting. It was very loud. It was right next to Tim. Um, and he was standing over by the windows. So if anybody has been there, like when you go upstairs, like at the very, very far back, up by the
Mm,
front corner of her building.
mm,
Um, Restless Spirits said, "We haven't, but we'd love to go." I'm going to tell you guys what, get on her calendar because it is um, totally worth paying the money to go to that investigation or to go investigate it for real. Laura said, "Eric was fine. He didn't get hurt, nothing like
mhm.
that." And then Aurora said, "Thank you, Tim, for sending that." So, while we were upstairs doing that, I'm going to let Misty pop in and talk about her little EVP session that was happening downstairs.
Yeah, so I set up an EVP since I had already experienced a couple of things when we were coming in. And I figured, well, I'll let it run for a little bit and then ask a couple questions while they're upstairs. I was trying to be quiet so I didn't have too much noise travel upstairs. While I'm doing this, I'm hearing all kinds of noises, and it seriously sounds like something is like walking up on me while I am sitting in the chair, just watching the monitor. And they finally get it set up, and they're like, "Is it okay?" I tell them it's okay. I figured they're starting their thing, I'm doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I see the monitor twitch, and I realized the camera had moved. And then I went ahead and radioed them to say, "Hey, did you guys?" I was going to ask them, "Did you guys do it?" And they were like, "We're in the middle of an EVP."
Mhm.
So that to me tells me they hadn't done it because they would have said something about like, "Oh, we hit this. That's
Mhm.
part of what's going on." So I was like, "Okay, I'll tell them when they get back," because obviously they're in the middle of it. So I'm sitting there and I keep getting things going on the whole time. And it's starting to get to me a little bit. I'll admit, by yourself after a while, hearing uh, things moving around and hearing the footsteps walking around you, like literally walking around you, and then hearing, I don't know, like not talking, but a whispering kind of sound. I started getting a little uh, needed a little bit of a break. I'll be honest. I needed a little bit of a break from it. I was like, okay, I'm by myself. It's not going to hurt to go outside. So I went outside not too long after that. Not too long after that, I'm sitting out there, and Brenda comes outside and is like, "Oh, how long you been out here?" And I said, "I've been out here about 10 minutes. And that's when you told me about the screen." And that's when I first said, "Well, I would have heard it because I've been out here."
Mhm.
And that's when we came back inside, and at that point, you heard the second scream, and we were like, "What in the world's going on?"
Yeah.
But nobody was outside. That was the thing, because I was outside, I was looking around. Is that little area, I stood up and looked around and sat down, and I didn't see anybody, so I don't know. I didn't hear it. You guys did. The second scream I did hear.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and the whole time she was doing that, she was sitting at base camp with the lights on. It's not
Yeah.
like she was in the dark. The lights, we had the lights on in the base camp quite a bit, and there were times where we were at base camp trying to figure out where we were going to go next and what we were going to do, and we could hear stuff moving around us, and we could hear what sounded like a whistle trying to get our attention. Like, hey,
Correct.
like we're here, type of thing,
Correct.
and it was crazy. People have posted, "Oh, I'm going to Aurora." Like, what can you tell us? And I said, just sit and listen. Like
Hmm.
the best way to
Yeah.
investigate there is to just sit and listen. Forget
Sit and
equipment.
listen.
I
Correct.
mean, EVP recorder, cool because you can catch things, but like, um, listen. Like we heard tons of footsteps. We heard whispers. We heard um, Misty actually heard music at one point. Um,
Correct.
in one of the areas where we were at. Like, and so if you just actually just listen, we heard coming up and down the hall, we heard stomps coming up and down the stairs. And these stairs that we heard stomps going up and down were blocked off. There was no access.
Correct.
Um, but you could hear footsteps, boom, 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 like running up and down the stairs, boom, 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 boom. So it's just there. And so if you go in there and investigate and you don't get anything, you weren't listening. But that's it.
Sure.
You weren't listening, um, because there was just so many different things going on at that point. We were upstairs in um, not on, I'm going to say on the brothel side, but into, we called it the back room when we were doing it. And when you go into that room, there's the little attic room or what is known as the portal area. So we were actually in that big room. We were sitting there. We were doing dead bell sessions, um, EVP sessions. Uh, I, we were doing all sorts of everything, and we were getting activity on the dead bell. The dead bell was ringing, and we
Hmm.
finally started asking questions. Like, um, ding it once for yes, twice for no, and we would ask questions, and it would answer. We would be um, like, "Were you the madam?" And it would ding twice, or like just different questions all throughout that time. Um, One of the responses we got, I know a lot of people don't like the apps, but we do. We get some crazy responses sometimes in the different locations. But we had finally gotten a response that said, "I'm bored of haunting you." And right after that happened, that dead bell started ringing just ding, 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 ding. And it
Hmm.
was doing it to annoy us. And it
Uh-huh.
literally, we're like, "Stop. You need to back away. Just stop. We know you're annoyed. Just stop." And it wouldn't. I literally had to get up and go over and shut my dead bell off for it to stop because it just wouldn't stop. It was crazy.
Sure.
Yep, Kathy's on. So hello, Kathy. Welcome in.
Hey, Kathy.
Um, but it was crazy. I know Misty also had an experience in that area as well, because she felt like she was being invaded a little bit. Do you remember that? I don't remember all of it, but I remember her feeling invaded. Like they were crowding her space, and
Yeah,
she wasn't
there,
like too well.
I don't know. There was just something about certain areas that felt like claustrophobic almost. But then I remember I also, when I went up there, I asked if there was ever a fire there because I kept saying I smell like smoke, remember?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I was getting all kinds of, like, to me at first I was like, maybe I'm off on it, but I really just had a moment there. It just felt like it was claustrophobic in certain areas, like you got crowded on. I don't know how else to explain it.
Hmm. Hmm. Cheryl, hello, welcome in, lady. It says, "Did it seem like it was intelligent or residual? Um, for me, I think a little bit of both because I think there is so much energy imprinted from all of the things that it was, um, there's that it's there. But I also think there's some intelligence to some of the things that are happening there as well. Misty, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think, of course, a lot of it is residual, but there are a couple of, well, let's just say things that like really, really like Myra that are a little more intelligent than others. And those are the ones that kind of just watch over her and I think have an affection for her. Um, there's something in the basement that's definitely intelligent. Um, but also remnants of residual there too. But yeah, there's something residual everywhere you go. But there was one, at least one or two things that were definitely intelligent. And then there are the things that were a little darker as well, but not like bad. And it was different. You know what I mean? It's more mischief sided.
We'll get into
Gotcha.
that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Myra may not want to hear about that part, but
Mhm.
if she wants to know what's happening in her building, she probably ought to hear it. So, Tim, what about you?
There was, I agree with Misty what she said. There's some intelligent hauntings in that building. Residual, it's got so much age to it, and we don't know a lot of the history. So I think a lot of residual energy is left there compared to what went on in the building and the people that visited, the ones that were there. A lot of
Hmm.
residual. We did run across. Now you're saying that backspace, so that people know. And you go upstairs above the antique shop. This is the brothel. You step to a doorway. Is a store next door, and that store next door is the upstairs where the people that owned the store lived. So we're in their space up there. And then there's an attic space behind it, but there's a stairwell that goes from their bedroom or their living quarters down to the store below, which we did find because we was wondering where it went. So when we were up above that store in that living area, and Misty had felt the claustrophobia, and we were getting the bell dinging, and it was being really aggravating, whatever was bugging us. We did hear like something ran down the stairs or fell down the stairs in front of us that went down to that store area. That was a really loud bang, a really loud thump. We couldn't depict. It was just real loud, like something with heavy boots ran down the stairs, and we were getting one name of a man. I'm trying to remember what it was. Been sitting here trying to remember what the name was. Who started talking to us up there during that time, ringing the bell, and he was from Kansas City. I think we determined he was from Kansas City, and he was part of the brothel or doing something to run through the brothel, illegal activity. I don't remember what his name was now, to tell you the truth.
We
As
got a
far as that
lot of
was
men's names in there,
correct.
but
There was one that kept answering us though up there in that spot. As far as that goes, yeah, and feeling closed in and claustrophobic, like someone was near you. You couldn't walk through that. You could not walk through that building anywhere. You felt like you were followed. You felt like someone was standing beside you, like and Misty's right. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you in my
Yeah.
space? That type of thing is what we were getting out of it. It was, hey,
mhm,
who, because it just felt like they kept coming near to find out who we were. They
mhm.
were curious.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff in there had a little bit darker path than what is and why it was there. I don't know how it got there, how it appeared, or why it's there. So that's kind of I don't know. I mean, we talk about the early 1900s. We talk about a lot of um, over-the-counter drugs that are today are illegal would have been prevalent in the day. I mean, they put it in pop. They put it in. It was common to get it all the time. Was that part of this brothel? I wish there was more history so we could find out more about it. So,
Was
yeah.
it Fred?
I think it was more. I don't remember the guy's name now. It was more
I
than like that.
I was just looking, and that was one. It says my name is Fred, and we also got arsehole,
Yep,
ARSEHOLE,
we
which is a
did.
very, very, very old word.
That it was. So
Um,
but it's interesting to learn at the brothel and the space above the store where the people stayed. There's a doorway between those buildings in the upstairs. So
mm,
that's interesting to learn too. They were not separate. The buildings are connected by that doorway. So that's an interesting thing too, as well.
yeah. Um, Myra says she loves her ghosties with the mosties, and she most certainly does, y'all. Um, yeah. So yeah, definitely on that part of it. Mom doesn't have electricity, Tim.
Yeah, I know. She called me. I called and
No.
talked to her. Jean's
Okay.
out too. The whole town's out.
She just messaged me. Sorry
Oh,
about that, guys.
Yeah,
Mom's 90. We gotta keep an eye on her. But
yeah,
yeah. So they keep getting into the more mischievous ghosties. We'll go ahead and hit on that. Um, and we will start out with Tim going up in this little cubby hole. You do have
uh,
access to get up there, but you have to be willing to climb. Some of
yeah,
us aren't so willing, but he is. So he went up in this room, and there's so much graffiti on the walls in this room.
yeah,
Like all the walls have a
yeah.
bunch of everything in there. Um, and so he went up there. I had him take my camera up there to record it while he was up there. Um, and I was sitting across the room over in base camp. Misty was on the ladder right below the cubby hole. Like she could see into
yeah.
the cubby, but she just wasn't quite up there far enough. But I will let Tim talk about um, all of his experiences in the cubby hole.
So there's cubby hole. You got to climb up a bookshelf to get into it. It's small. You can't stand up in it. You got to sit down. But it's more. I think it's just a storage space over the years that belonged to the people that own the store next door because it's not very big. It's a small door. So I was sitting in there and I set up a camera to film me while I was in there watching what I was doing. Oh, and I got in trouble because I left my cord in front of me in the camera. So yeah, Brenda's not happy about that. So I'll do better next time. But anyway, I'm sitting in this cubby hole and I feel like the floor underneath me, I'm just sitting down, squatted. I feel like the floor underneath me is vibrating, like the whole thing just vibrating all the time. And I felt, and so I'm doing an Estes method while I'm in there because that's what I planned on doing. And I kept getting pictures in my head of something crawling up the outside through the doorway where I was trying to get into where I was at, like I was in its space or something. But I kept getting these visions in my head. But I got sounds, I got knocks that felt like the floor was vibrating, just like it was shaking. But we didn't have anything to detect any of that. Maybe next time we take something that will detect if there's anything happening. And then behind me, there was a real loud bang on the wall, and it hurt. It actually, I felt it in my back, and I stopped my Estes session and turned around to see what was there. But I mean, it was loud. It brought me out of the Estes method. So I don't know if something crawled up there with me or I was in its space and it wanted me out because Misty said earlier when she walked by that space, she got, hey, she got spoke to. So if you go there, crawl up in the cubby hole. Don't be afraid. You, I, I suggest you do it if you really want to investigate something because I think your experience up there will be quite interesting. Because things that were happening to me, Brenda was watching across the room, watching me react, and she could see me reacting up there to what was going on. But what's in that spot? I don't know. Maybe that's one of the little creepy, dark things that where it resides, where it
Mm.
stays. The graffiti on the wall has been drawn by all kinds of people. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what was up there. There's names, there's pictures, there's drawings, there's swastikas up there in that room too. We took a bunch of pictures of it and brought it back with us. So
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob is up there.
I can't remember all that's up there. I took like 15 pictures to try to get it all. So
Mhm.
it's really
Yeah,
cool.
and if you guys are just joining, I did say at the top of the podcast to make sure that you guys have headphones. I'm going to play a little audio clip. I ask a question and you can hear a response. It is male and it is low, but you can hear it better with headphones on. And I'm going to do it. So it's in the video. So even if you don't have it now, you can do it later. But it'll loop a few times and then I'll stop it. So, how many of you are here? How many of you are here? How many of you are here? How many of And I don't know if anybody had headphones on or didn't and they think they heard it. Can you tell us what you think? How many they told us was there? What the because the answer is there. But tell us what you think. How many there are hanging out in the Aurora Brothel? And I'll answer it before the end of the live. I just want to see if some people had headphones on or if they could hear it. I actually have several from the cubbyhole. I just didn't want to overload this. But there are several EVPs from that area. I also know I'm watching Tim two ways. Okay, I'm sitting over at base camp. I'm watching him on the camera, on the monitor, because we had a camera up there as well, besides my camera. So I'm watching him on the monitor, and I'm also watching him because I can see from where I was sitting. Kathy said, Kathy says she hears 3. Myra says she didn't hear it. And that's what I was saying. If you have headphones, you can definitely hear it a lot better. And sometimes if you're not used to listening to that stuff, you may never pick it up. But I'll share. I just want to know if anybody else can guess what the number was on that. But back to what I was saying. Misty was standing on the ladder, like I said. And at one point, well, I'll let you talk about when it got really dark and also about what you felt while you were on the ladder.
Oh, when I was below him?
Yeah.
So yeah, it got extremely dark all of a sudden and really, really cold in just that spot. And I remember like yelling over at you going, "Are you colder? Is it darker over there? What do you see inside?" Because I was asking, because you could see the monitors. He had that one camera set up in there, and I couldn't see inside. I just saw the opening, but everything got completely blacked out. And I couldn't see anything. And I think that was when he was doing his estimate method at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I remember seeing that and thinking, yeah, that's not good. But there wasn't anything we could do because he had his headphones on, his blindfold on, and that's why I asked you if you could see in there, because it like turned all the light that I could see, it blocked that entire doorway.
And that was when she said it and I looked up, it was black. I mean, you couldn't, because where I was sitting, I could see Tim sitting in there. And at that point, I could not see Tim sitting in there at all. It was dark. It was black.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was happening because I'd done an Estes, so.
Correct. Yeah. And you also got touched.
I did. Yep.
No. Well, you got touched and Misty got touched.
Misty did too? Oh, we both did.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was standing down there, something grazed me, and I was like, oh my God. It creeped me out at the time because that was right around when it started getting dark out. It just felt like I think it touched my elbow or something. And all I know is I was like, I just got touched.
Oh,
And then you started talking about like being felt like something was in the room with you.
correct. Yeah, like something was coming up in that doorway with me trying to get in there, or was coming in there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else on a guess? If you listen to it, it responds 8. So the answer, like when you first hear it, you'll think 3 because that's what I did when I first heard it. It says 3, and I'm like, I went back and I listened to it again, and it actually says 8. So whether 8 is actually accurate or not, that's what it told us is there was 8 there. Um, so yeah, you have a lot of ghosties with the mosties, Miss Myra. Okay. Do we want to go in the basement or do we want to go into the portal attic upstairs?
Either one.
I vote for the portal because they would explain what we just talked about too.
Okay, we can do that. So we ended up going back upstairs and we went over into the little um, attic area. And again, it's not a very big doorway. And Tim's like, I'll crawl in there, I'll do another Estes. And I'm sitting in the doorway, and then Misty's sitting to my right on a chair. And so she's recording, I'm recording, and Tim is sitting in there. I'll let him go through that. Then we'll play a clip. Myra already has this clip. She's posted it. I posted it. We're going to play it again in the video because I did some learning today. um, but I will let, I'm excited because I'm learning more about this platform. But I'll let Tim talk about what he was hearing. We'll play that video. We'll play that video. I had headphones, Myra. That's why.
Gotcha.
I'll let,
So there's a chair in this attic, and it's I don't know, it's 8 feet back, maybe 8, 10 feet back in the attic. So you crawl back in there and sit in the chair. When you sit up, you're able to sit up in the chair and sit up in the thing. So I started doing my Estes method and just asking questions and so forth. And I felt something was to the right of me. So I pointed to the right, like I thought something was actually walking up to the right of me over here during my Estes method. I could feel that sense. And so I was doing it, so going through it. So we went through the whole Estes method. And at the end of it, I'm sitting there and I keep thinking there's something behind me, there's something beside me, something. And I got poked in the back, literally like somebody took a finger and poked me right in the kidney area in the back. I took off all the stuff and turned around to look to see if I could see something behind me. I didn't see anything, but I did get poked in the back, and I had the hair on my back of my neck like something was standing to the right, behind me and to the right. That's what I thought. And I asked Brenda and Misty when it was over, I said, did something on my right side, was there something there? And the answer was yes. So I don't know what's in the attic. And it's above our base camp where we're at. So we realize it's just a big, huge open attic back there. Something a little dark, like Misty said, is in that building, and it likes to roam around and poke on people. So in the cubby hole and in the attic, I got poked twice, each time in each one of those buildings, in each one of those rooms. But you get that eerie feeling that something is there, and you can't see it, but it's there. So yeah, that was yeah. Let's go back. I want to go back in the attic. I'm ready.
yeah.
Get in the truck.
We're going back. We're going
Just get in
back.
the truck. Just get in the truck.
Uh,
We're getting the track. All right.
And
I'm gonna play this. Before I play this, I want you guys to realize um, you will hear me talking and Misty talking. That is in there for purposes so you know it's neither one of us saying what you're about to hear. And it is also not Myra, because if it was Myra, we would have heard it at the time. And
Mm.
nobody heard it because we would have mentioned it. And when I was doing a review of the footage is when I picked up on this. So This you ought to be able to hear without headphones. The depths of hell over there by himself. On my pants. That's where I'm putting mine. While we sit out here and ask a question. So, Misty talked first, and then
Yeah.
I talked. But that voice at the very beginning, nobody heard, because we're the type of people, if we hear it, we call it out, and we
Sure.
didn't hear it. You guys want to hear it again? Because it's very interesting.
Do it
Now,
one more
Myra
time.
says I was gone by that time. You were, Myra, you were long gone by that time.
Yeah, it was just the three of us.
Let you guys do it again. The depths of hell over there by himself. On my pants. That's where I'm putting mine. While we sit out here and ask a question.
Catherine's right, Southern Belle.
Yeah. Yeah. So it truly was a Southern Belle that said it. She had that really Southern drawl. It floored me when I listened to it. And when I posted it to begin with, I even tried to say what it said in my most Southern Belle accent, and I am nowhere
Not
close.
the same.
Nowhere
Nope.
close. But that was pretty cool. So again,
And keep in mind that was the stairwell that we heard the footsteps run down earlier.
Yep.
That was the same area that we heard the bang in the footsteps. So
yep. Sure was. Anything else about that area?
Tim? Or,
Anybody.
well, I remember, I think at one point you and me were kind of not really taunting it, but kind of talking at it or something, because on your app, it was kind of going off on you a little bit. And I'm going to let you tell us what it said, but honestly, it's what happened afterwards too, which I think you would probably tell better anyways.
Well, okay. First of all, we don't taunt.
It was the wrong word. It was.
Yeah. As Tim was sitting in there, still doing his Estes method, I'm seeing little shadows all over in there. And you can tell by the video, it's beams and rafters. But back behind, I could see like little blips of, darker than dark, like little shadows moving. And I was trying to get it. I'm like, come out, like,
Yeah, you're
story, come out.
lure it out.
And I don't honestly remember exactly what it said, but I remember it came across your device to say watch it, like we were pushing too much or something. What was it? Because I'm not remembering.
Oh, it said a cuss word at you.
Yeah, probably called me the B. Was it the B word?
Well, it was. I don't know, man. It was bad though. It was enough where it was like shut the up or something. And right when that happened is when we got blasted with a really cold wind, because you were like, well, show us, if you're that powerful, because it kept hiding from you, and you're like, well, show us. And it was like, shut the F up, and pretty much then we got a nice little breeze pushed at us, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't playing.
That I do remember, because it was so cold, I had goosebumps under my coat.
Yeah.
It was very, very much, it was super cold.
And we'd been in that area before the whole time, not one draft, and then all of a sudden it was just one whoosh of really super cold air, and then it was fine the rest of the time.
Yeah. So I wasn't being mean, like I was just trying to get it to
No.
and evidently it did. So Cheryl, she definitely heard that. And then Kathy said, so loud and clear, that's amazing. That's what makes long hours of investigations worth it. And it
Right.
is. And it's just those little pieces of evidence that you get that does make
Correct.
any investigation worth it, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Um, I do know back when we were on the brothel side in the big open upstairs part, um, Tim and I were up there, and I don't remember what time it was, but we kept seeing a shadow. And I know that's very popular down there, of
Mm-hmm.
a shadow running in the brothel side or hiding in
Mm-hmm.
the brothel side, like peeking out, because I've seen it on other photos. But we kept seeing a shadow, going
Mm-hmm.
around and everywhere. And um, I think I
Yep.
had walked down to the other end of the room, did not have a very good feeling, so I came back. Um,
Yeah.
we tried playing poker. We tried playing poker with the
Yeah.
ghosties. Um, what else do you remember about that side upstairs?
I remember we're sitting up there in those chairs on the far end, kept looking down there and kept seeing something run around the other end, down by the stairwell that take you back down. So we definitely saw a shadow moving around there. The whole time we was up there, it moved until we walked back
Hmm.
down to that end, and then it stopped. So yeah, and that's one of the claims in there too. Is shadows running around up in that brothel area all the time. That was we didn't catch it on camera. We didn't catch it on any video, but personal
No,
experience, we did see it.
unfortunately.
So,
Unfortunately, we did not. Um, let's let's tap back down on the main floor. Tap into those two little rooms that were really super dark that you went and looked at first.
correct,
I know what
Let's
you're talking
tap,
about.
let's
correct,
tap into that really quick because it's not very long, but we all three
correct,
experienced
correct.
craziness, and then we'll jump to the basement.
So this was at one time this store next door. It was a photography place, and I think it was a changing room they were in, and there was a lot of equipment in there, a lot of stuff, and then there was a little hallway that turned and went back into two, stopped at a hallway and went into two rooms, right and left. The one on the left, there was something in there that kept looking back at us, and I backed up out the hallway thinking, okay, I don't know what you are. So now taking in mind, this is under the stairs of the store where the people lived upstairs. So that's where we are in this building. Something was in there and something kept looking at me and something kept trying to come out to talk to us. So I got Misty and Brenda's attention and said, "You need to come look at this. You need to come back here and take a look at this." Well, both of them did, and sure enough, I'll let them tell you what they experienced. So,
So I walked up there, and of course, I hadn't looked in this area before, so I had no idea what it was. And there's no window, so it's already dark. But when I turned to look through the doorway, I literally saw the black abyss. Like I couldn't
yeah,
tell anything. Like all I seen was total darker than dark blackness. And
yeah,
the feeling I got was something was lunging at me, going, "Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm coming. Are you ready?" And that was
mhm,
it. And that's a, like that's all I heard in my head is, "Are you ready? Because I'm coming."
yeah,
And I felt it like lunging at me. So I backed up and I didn't say anything. And I just went, "Misty, your turn." So just like it is now, it's your turn.
Well, and I'm always the one that will go in the room. Even if it scares me, I'll go in the room. I might turn around, walk right back out, but I'll go in there. And I remember I walked in there and I kind of just stood there and was like, nah, I want to go in there. And
yeah,
it's not, and it wasn't like bad or anything. It was more like a mischief, like that's where I was trying to say the mischief.
yeah,
Mischievous.
mhm,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Um, that's what I'm talking about. It's Not like dark, dark. Nothing's really dark, dark there. It's more like it wants to play with you a little bit, and
Good.
it's not a bad thing. It's more a curiosity thing, I think. Plus, we are invading their like territory, and they've already accepted Myra, so she's like, the one that doesn't get
Right.
anything bad happening to her, and that's good. But like, of course, they're protective, and they're testing us a little bit, and that's kind of what's going on when you go in there. So if it seems a little dark, that's more likely what it is. They're testing you. And that's what it felt like it was doing to us. It was kind of messing with us, see how much that can scare us. If it can scare us away and make us not come back.
Correct.
Myra says it is pitch black, but Myra, I didn't realize
Yeah.
standing in that doorway, I didn't realize that it was a small room with another room behind it. I couldn't
Yeah.
see anything.
Correct.
Like I couldn't see anything. And it was
Yeah.
later that I realized it was the one room with another room behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we,
like even
good.
in the dark, you can see another doorway,
Good.
but there was no seeing any doorway when
And
it was,
we went back there later in the night, and when you turned that corner, you could see both
yep,
those rooms. I
yep,
mean, you could see into both of them. You could step into the room without any apprehension at all. So
yeah,
that did
yeah.
happen.
It was crazy, but it was pitch black for sure.
Like
Um,
a curtain.
yeah.
Mhm.
So let's go to the basement. The basement is oh so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, Myra told us on our tour that she doesn't go to the basement. Her and the ghosties down there have a pact. They stay down there. She stays upstairs, and they're all good. Um, and um, she had also told us about a guy named Walt that goes by Walter that hangs out down there. When we initially went down there, um, before we even put a camera up down there, when Tim and I initially went down there was a lot of energy down there. I didn't feel it at first. He did. He's like, there's a lot. And then I stopped and I felt it out and I was like, oh yeah, like there was a bunch behind us, there was a bunch in front of us, like
Right.
it was a bunch. Couldn't tell you how many, but it was a lot of energy. Um, and then the basement goes on forever. Like you go through a little door and you go through another little door and there's a whole nother big
Mhm.
room. Who knew?
Mhm. Mhm.
Before we do that, Myra wants to talk about that room that we were just talking about. Whatever was in there growled at her, and she went back and sped it, told it not to growl at her, and it's never growled at her again. Kudos. I am so glad it has never growled at you
Mhm.
again because I would be like, you got to go. You
Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
you got to go.
It was like on that edge of being a little too much. Because it was a little daunting. It really was.
Yeah. So we got the camera set up down there, and then we went back down there to do an investigation. And um, while we were down there, we were all kind of standing over in the area, I guess where the cab company might have been, since the doorway was over there, the old doorway. Um, and we were all looking, and all of a sudden, Tim, he's just standing there, and he's like focused, and like I'm trying to ask questions or whatever, and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, oh, he's locked in on something. So I'll let you tell him what you were locked in on.
So, and we'll go back for when we first all three went down there. Um, there was a lot. There's a lot of energy in that basement. There's a lot. And so if you go down the stairs and go to the right, you go through a small room that has an old bathroom in it. Then you go into the next room, and that's I think where the taxi cab place was, I believe. We were standing in that room, so I was standing on the back wall, and Misty's up by the door, and Brenda's between us. And we set a bell down on the floor, and we set up REM pods, and we had our handheld cameras, and we were trying to get something to react down there. Well, the bell started reacting to our questions, and I thought, okay, there's something here. Well, I'm standing there looking out at the door we would come in the next room. We came to a small room. So I was focused on looking back into that room. And I'm standing and I see this shadow poke its head around the door and stare at me and go back. And I went, okay. So then I saw it again and I thought, then I saw it move across the door itself. And I'm like, okay, there's a shadow in there. So I tap it on Brenda, hey, and I'm pointing. And she's asking questions. What? She looks over and I said, look. And all of a sudden, this shadow looks out again, goes back. And it kept doing that. Misty turned and looked, and now she's seeing the shadow do the same thing. Every time she looked at it, it would look at her. So she come over where we were, and we tried to focus on this. And we started asking more questions. The more questions we asked, the more the dead bell went off, the more the shadow moved. So our activity was just immensely spiked. And we were trying to ask the questions about Walt, so forth, trying to communicate with whatever's down there moving around the basement with us. So the whole time we were there, we had activity. This shadow was in the next room trying to see who we were, trying to figure it out. The dead bell's going off over here on this side by the other doorway. So how many entities were we talking to in that basement at one time? How many was down there? Because we all three experienced what was happening. I mean, the bell rang. We were so focused, the bell rang scared the crap out of you. We said, dang, I don't crap. You just go off.
Yeah.
So the basement itself, and then Brenda started asking questions about Walt. Hey, are you Walt? And the bell dang. The bell went ding. So thought we were talking to Walt. That's what the claim is that Myra told us about. So we were trying to follow up on that lead. So I'll let these guys talk about it because we did a little bit more down the basement. I tried doing an experiment, and these guys didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So we'll talk about that.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I'm not a basement dweller. Well, I am a basement dweller because I'm always in the basement, but I'm not a basement dweller. um, so I had actually sat down and was doing an Estes method. And I guess Tim was asking questions. He was, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you guys started talking to see if you could actually talk to, I want to call a brothel employee. I don't really want to call her what, but a lady. And all of a sudden, I start saying things, and I remember I start saying things like mine, minor, and stuff like that. So then he shifts gears and he's like, oh, wait. He's like, maybe we're talking to Walt. And I guess at the whole time that he flipped it and started doing it, the dead bell is continuing to ring like it's answering his questions, as well as when I would hear something, I would say something back, which I do have one other EVP to play for that on that one. The answer to that one is kind of iffy. It can go either way. I'm not 100%. So you could take it one or the other on the answer when I go to play it. But I do know that, and I didn't even hear the bell because when I do the Estes, like I'm like this because I just want to focus on what I'm listening to. So I didn't even know the bell was going off until I think Misty coughed really loud and it startled me. So I took them off, and then I heard the bell ring, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, has that been ringing like the whole time? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. So, Misty.
Well, I mean, honestly, just the whole hill of down there. When we started noticing the shadow coming into the room, I honestly I didn't know what to think of it because it was acting in such a shy manner. Is the best way to put it. Like it wanted to come in and interact, but it was too scared to at points.
Yep.
But it is a good point that even though that was there was also something ringing that dead bell.
Correct.
That didn't seem like it was connected with the same thing that we were looking at. Now, we did have the app open and was asking questions, so we were also getting little things off there, and that's where we kind of Oswald got the name Walt multiple times throughout the night, and it did seem to positively react to it being called Walt or Walter.
Yep.
After that, it seemed to get lighter because at first it was so dark and it was cold and almost uh, desolate in a way. But once we started interacting with it, it seemed to warm up and become more welcoming. And by the time we felt like when we left the room, it literally felt and seemed lighter in the room.
Okay.
Because he was
So,
being heard.
yeah, I think so. I think and maybe it was feeling like it didn't need to be standoffish anymore either. You gotta treat things with respect, and even if it's dead, you still need respect.
Right. All right. So let me play this, and then Tim can tell about his experiment that we did not do.
Hi. Who's next?
So you can hear that.
Who's next? Hi. Who's next? Hi. Who's next?
So when I say who's next, I don't think I was in Estes at that point anymore. I might have been. But I say who's next, and you either hear it say Tim or him. Either way, it's him because he's the only guy in the building. And we really didn't get much after that, so I don't know what it was trying to get across. But it was who's next. I say who's next, and then it either says Tim or him. So maybe if you guys put your headphones on and listen, you can hear it. To me, it sounds like Tim, but either way, Tim, him, it's still the man over here. So.
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
So, in my years of investigating for the past 14 years, I wanted to try an experiment so this basement, if you go, the rooms all connect, like Brendan said earlier. You go to each room, it goes to a big wall in the back. Then on the back side of it's all the plumbing, the piping for the building, and it's a big open room, but it's like a big circle. You can actually go from room to room to room in this basement. So my thought was, okay, this thing's down here, it's moving. It kind of went away from us after a while and kind of took off to I'm going to say the north, but if you come down the stairs to the left. And so I says, okay, let's do this. Let's all split up. Let's go different directions and try to capture this thing, see if we can surround it in this room, in this basement, to see if we can corner it and get it to talk to us. Well, when they ended up it, I was the only one game. These ladies were not going to go in the basement by themselves and walk around the dark. So anyway, maybe next time we get enough people next time, maybe we'll go in there and try it.
Okay, I looked at Misty and I said, "Are you going to go back there in that room?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "I'm not going back there in that room." So I guess we ain't doing this. But you know what? I will say it right now. When we go back on the 11th, if you want to do it, I'll put my big girl pants on. I will walk back there. We will do it.
I'll do it this time. I think at that time I was kind of done because that coming in like that, I was like, oh man, not again.
Yeah.
Seeing the ghost coming in.
Yeah, sometimes us women, we just got to man up. So we'll just bite the bullet and do it.
So if any of you out there watch this podcast, please go down the basement if you go there, because the attic and the basement and that cubby hole, you'll get experiences. You just can't not get away from it. I mean, we had it no matter where we was going in that building. And I will try to download that scream. I think I already have it cut. I'll send it to Brendan. You can send it down to Myra so she can have it. So as far as that goes. But anyway, sometimes you need to experiment to catch ghosts. They don't always come out on cue, so you got to coach them a little bit.
Yeah, you do. And if you're using a method, but it's not working, try taking it and flipping it like we did with the dead bell. Like if hit it once for yes, twice for no, or once for no, twice
Yeah.
for yes, or um, we some of that we were struggling with. So we were like, okay, can you tell us how many of you are there? And I would just rattle off a number, like just ding it when we get to that number, which I think the last number I said was like 45 and the bell still never dinged. I just don't think they wanted to answer the question about how many were actually there. Um,
Yeah.
but just sometimes just the different ways of
Yeah.
doing that is
Yeah. See
great.
if you can
Mhm.
figure out who's in that basement, because like Misty said, the shadow's over here and the dead bell's over there, and they were both.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could see both at the same time. So
Yeah. Okay. And talking about Walt and what happened, so back in 1909, there was a Daisy Bell mine explosion that was one of the worst mining accidents in Aurora mines in several years. 4 men were instantly killed in the accident, and the other two others escaped with severe injuries. The explosion occurred was the only when a single crack was the only warning the miners had before the roof of the shaft came down, burying them under tons of dirt. The victims' names were James Knowles, Wayne Hawkins, John Irwin, and Walter Welch. Walter Welch was 25
you cut
years
out.
old at the time of the accident and is buried in Maple Park. The incident highlights the dangers of working underground and the importance of safety measures in mining operations. So, as we speaking to Walter Welch, like, you don't know, we don't know, but maybe when we go back, we'll be able to talk a little bit more and, maybe ask some deeper questions of, like, were you 25 or, you know, did you work at the Daisy Bell mine or anything like that? Um, but it's really cool that we got interactions talking with a Walt, and then
Yeah.
we found out that a miner um, named Walter was killed in that mine explosion. So
Mhm.
it's whatever you guys think. I think it's kind of a cool coincidence. Like I said, going
Mhm.
back, asking more questions, maybe we can get more of a
Yeah.
correlation. Maybe it is Walter. Maybe he likes to chill there. Who knows? But it's actually really cool. Anything else
Um,
that we didn't hit on that you guys wanted to talk about?
well, we heard several times during the night. We heard voices. That
Yeah.
we kept looking out the windows trying to see if we could see, and we didn't see anybody outside. We couldn't find anyone. We kept every time we heard the voices, we went to the windows and out the door. We tried to look to see. You can't get around the back of the building, so I don't know if somebody could have been around back of the building itself. There was a bar down the street, but we didn't see anybody that was close enough we could hear the voices. So that happened a lot. We got whistled at, like someone, a quick whistle, like someone trying to get your attention. That happened twice, really quick, down in our home base area, I think where the bar used to be. So we did capture that. I don't know if we got those whistles or not. Did somebody have a recorder running at that time?
Um,
So
I mean, we had recorders running while we were at base camp. I don't
yeah,
remember it off the top of my head, but I
okay.
was only watching videos today, so
Yeah.
We may have caught it. So, but it's like that real quick whistle, someone trying to get your attention is what it sounded like.
yeah.
The footsteps, sounds. The building was really active there. I think we had the correct aura with us at the time to get these entities to come out and speak to us or curious of who we were. So the next time we go back, we'll have more of that. And I think we'll have I expect it to be a good investigation the second time as well. So I
And,
really
Yeah.
do.
and we did throughout the night. We kept referring to Myra, um, how sweet she was and that she loves her ghosties and things like that. And I think that helped. Um,
Mm.
maybe it helped them feel
Yeah.
like they didn't have to hide from us, like they could actually come out and speak with us,
Right.
because, like Myra's pretty cool. We're glad we got to
Yeah.
meet her. We're glad we're going to be friends, that type of thing. I'm not saying 100% that's what it is, but maybe it helped to actually talk about it,
Mhm.
to talk about Myra. And, like we know she likes to take care of you guys, and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. So
Uh,
it's actually,
yeah, and one last thing I can think of is the feeling on your arms when people.
Um,
Mara even says that happens to people that come visit her shop. They feel the tingling on their arms and stuff. So
hmm
yeah, yeah. She told us that. She's like, people feel like a spider or something is on their arm and it
mhm.
tingles. And she's like, that's my ghosties.
Mhm.
Well, when Tim and I went upstairs I forgot about that. When Tim and I went upstairs to set up the camera, I actually stopped dead stop and I turned around and I said, is there a cobweb above me? And he goes, I don't know. Turn on your flashlight. So I turn on my flashlight. There's no cobweb, but up here on my face, I felt like
Mhm.
a little thing. It was
Yeah.
it was weird. It was cool. I mean, it was a cool experience. So that's
I
just
got
another thing of
I got some
when
different
she
ideas the
tells you.
next time we go back on how to set up some things and some things to do. So I have a
Okay,
couple ideas. So
awesome. Um,
yeah.
but when she gives you the tour and she tells you that don't be surprised if they happen,
Yeah.
because I really wasn't expecting it. I was like, whatever, and then like it just cut me off guard, and it was like boom, and I'm like, wait, 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 like something literally just brushed my face. So, Misty,
Yep.
anything else?
Yep. That's the same feeling I got when I was under the um that little room when I felt my arm touched. That's the same feeling. So I mean, yeah. If she tells you it's gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen.
yep,
Or it could
true.
happen, or possibly happen.
Yeah. But
Well,
I mean, you really do get when you experience it, you know exactly what she was talking about. That's for sure.
and you will definitely not be expecting it when it happens.
Yeah,
Nope.
So,
it startled me a few times.
yeah.
Yeah. Walking through that doorway from her shop into that room, I mean, you step through that door, you do feel it. You do feel something standing there. That is that,
hmm
that's right below that little cubby hole. So yep.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our reliving of the Aurora Brothel again. It's an amazing place to go to. We do go back April 11th, and we can't wait to get back there. Next week on Deep Dive Haunts, we are going to talk about the 1858 Garnet House Hotel. That is another episode you guys are not going to want to miss. I will
Yeah.
see if I can get some clips uploaded for that one, kind of like we did tonight for this, and
Yeah.
see what we can get. But definitely, you don't want to miss that one.
Yep.
And also, this Wednesday, if you didn't catch it when I was doing that a little bit ago, this Wednesday, we're going to have Goose Flats Paranormal LLC out of Tombstone, Arizona, on our Deep Dive podcast, um, live at 7 p.m. our time, 6 their time. It'll be great to get to talk to them and see what they're like out there in Tombstone and what they do and what they have to offer and all of that good stuff. Um, Kathy says, "Oh boy, I don't. Maybe that was to your. I don't know about going back or your experiments." Myra says, "Thank you so much. Excited to see you guys again. There's more stuff. Absolutely." Cheryl, enjoyed it very much. Great job, guys. Thanks. And then Kathy finishes off by saying, "Cool." Anyway, we will be back next Sunday night with Garnet House Hotel right here at 7 p.m. So make sure you guys. Oh, she was talking about oh boy for Garnet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a trip, y'all.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a trip. So, um, but we will be doing that. So we'll see you Wednesday at 7. We'll see you again Sunday at 7. Other than that, Thanks for joining in, you guys. Have a great week.